Reading is not interesting, neither is it easy, but it is one major self-development tool that will help you stand out and give you an edge. In this video, I'm going to be discussing how to build a reading culture and include reading in your schedule without seeing it as a big task. My name is Veronica, and on this channel, I talk about self-development, finance, and my lifestyle in general. In this video, I'll be talking about how to incorporate reading in your daily lives without looking at it as a task. If you're a new subscriber, you're welcome, and I want to encourage you to watch my other videos where I've talked about my experience as a PTDF scholar. I also have videos about some of the lessons in my book. Finally, I've given tips on how to apply for the PTDF scholarship, prepare for your interview, and also have a very good stay as an international student coming into the UK. Having said all of this, let's delve into today's video. Welcome back, guys. Have you ever heard the Walt Disney quote that says, "There is more treasure in books than in all the pirates' loot in Treasure Island"? But why is it that people do not still read? Even with the understanding that readers are leaders, all of those quotes flying here and there, people do not still read. If you're curious as to how I came to the conclusion that people do not read, then out of many, I'll give you two. I am an author myself. I published my first book in 2021. And one thing I noticed is that apart from people not wanting to buy books for themselves to read, even when you give them free copies of books, they will not still read it and they will not still be interested to get it. Sometimes I get people that will pay for some copies of my books and say, give it to people on your channel, give it to people on your page or just in your community. And I'll come on and I'm like, okay, I have free copies of my book. If you're interested, let me know. Things like that. Guess what, guys? Sometimes I don't even get people to show up for free books. And I'm like, this is a free book. This is not me coming to say, come and buy. And then it's a different ball game when they have to buy the books. You'll keep hearing excuses upon excuses. Meanwhile, prices of these books do not even cost up to what they spend or what people spend on things like the internet, clothes, food, and many more like that. The second reason I have concluded that people do not read is because as an author and content creator, I have created some content around books and books I read, my own book, how to get it, how to order it, just general content about books. And guess what? Anytime I create such content, it's like everybody's just keeping that video. Nobody wants to hear about books. On one hand, it bothers me, but on another hand, I can totally understand that reading does not come so easily. So I'm going to be sharing with you things that you can do to develop a reading culture. And trust me, it's as simple as you can ever think. So let's run through them very quickly. The first way that I have for you that you can develop a reading culture easily, number one, is to start small. By starting small, it means that you've made up your mind to start reading and then you're going to take it a step at a time. You can just pick an old book in the house or start by reading not necessarily a physical book. It might be like an ebook that you have on your phone, and then you move to books that you can finish at a goal. You do not want to bore yourself with big books such that you start reading and you do not finish. So start small and be consistent about it. That would really help. So look at it as a long-term plan, a long-term goal. Don't look at it as a big task. Because if you do that, it will be very difficult for you to keep progressing. So start with small books, start with books that are not very difficult to finish, books that you can finish in a day. It's easy for you to finish at once and then you can proceed from there. The second tip that I have is to read on topics that interest you. Read topics that interest you. Start with interesting books. If you're trying to incorporate reading for your children, you can start with picture books. You can start with books with simple stories. And then they can grow from there. Also, if it's for you, pick up topics that you are already interested in. If you're interested in business, you can pick up topics in business. If you're interested in food, if you're interested in geology, depending on what you like already, just find books that would encourage you to continue reading, because it is a stepping stone. So you do not want to start on books that will be boring or books that you will not be able to continue to read. So start small and start with books that interest you. Remember that it's the beginning, and because it's a marathon, you do not have to rush it. You can take it step by step so that you do not eventually stop reading because you do not have interest in what you are reading. Next tip I have for you is to create a suitable space or environment for reading. Sometimes the reason why you do not just find yourself reading is because you've not created that environment or space for you to read. Probably the area where you are in is always very noisy, or it's an area that is not convenient, or a space that is not convenient. You probably have to get a table and a chair, or you probably have to consider the time of the day that favors you. Maybe you have to wake up early in the morning or read late at night. Just work towards a schedule that will be convenient for you, and an environment as well that will be convenient for you, so that it's easy for you to make reading part of your daily activities. So if you have to leave your environment and go to a quiet place like the library, then it's fine as well. You can consider that. Just make sure that you're making conscious effort to ensure that you read. In the library, there's some that will offer you membership cards that will help you to come often, or that will help you to go with books. So ensure that you just take advantage of all of these opportunities so that it's easier for you to read. Apart from finding your own space, just like I have mentioned, another tip that would help you is to make reading come easy for you. Make it easy for you to get in the reading mode by ensuring that you have the books that you want to read. That means that if you do not have enough books, you should get books. It doesn't have to be only physical books. You can blend it. You can decide to download ebooks, or you can decide to listen to audiobooks depending on your activity of the day. Sometimes as well, if you have physical books, you can put them in specific spaces like your dining table if you find yourself always sitting there often, or your bedside stand if you know that it's difficult for you to stand up when you're ready to sleep and your book is not beside you. So just put books in strategic places where it's easy for you to reach out for them and read it. So make reading come easy for you. If you're ready to read and then you do not have a book to read, it's going to be difficult for you to keep that reading mode because you snap out of it. And when it gets consistent like that, then you will not maintain a reading culture. Another tip I have for you to maintain a reading culture is to use the easiest method of reading that works for you. For example, if you only read physical books and then you're finding it difficult to maintain that, or you're wasting precious time that you spend on the road because you cannot read physical books on the road, then you might want to consider incorporating other methods of reading like ebooks, reading on your phone, or listening to audiobooks. So that can work because it saves you more time rather than waiting till when you have the time and space and convenience to be able to read a physical book. It's better to combine some of these reading methods so that it's part of your daily reading habits. Another tip I have for you is to set a daily reading goal and also set a time to it. In a day, if you decide that you're going to read one chapter, that means that in 30 days you would have read 30 chapters of a book. Another way that you can also calculate this is by working backwards rather than working forward. I work forward by starting from the chapter per day. You can start with a old book and say, I have this old book and I want to read it in a month. How can I cover it in 1 month? And then you divide it by the number of days in that month and know how many pages you'll be reading per day. Or you can divide it per chapter. It doesn't have to be in the same proportion because there's some days that you'll be more busy than other days. So on days that you're more busy, you can take up lesser chapters or lesser pages. And on days that you're less busy, you cover more. So it's just a way of ensuring that you set goals and you meet up to those goals. In a year, you can also have a particular number of goals that you want to meet. So it just encourages you to keep reading so that you can meet that goal. One other tip I have for you to maintain a reading culture is to join a book club. It's to connect you to a number of people that are interested as well in meeting the same goal that you are pursuing. You all can be accountable together and run towards meeting the goals. A community doesn't have to be a physical community. There are online communities that exist, and it doesn't have to also be a large community. It can be a community of few friends, or a community of few colleagues, or an online community on Telegram, Instagram, WhatsApp, that you all check up on each other to ensure that you are proceeding with your goals and you all pick books together and read together. That would encourage you as well. Finally, decide that reading is not a sprint. Do not read because you want to impress people. Do not read because others are saying they read and they are showing the books that they read. Just let it be a form of inspiration, or let it inform you on the kinds of books to read next, but do not let it intimidate you. It's a marathon, especially if you are just starting to incorporate the reading culture into your habits. It's a marathon, so make sure that you see it as that and you take it one step at a time. Just ensure that you're building consistency and then you are moving towards achieving your goals. I will end with this quote by Walt Disney: "There is more treasure in books than in all the pirates' loot on Treasure Island." That means that the benefits of reading or incorporating a reading culture is non-exhaustive. If you're a writer, if you are a public speaker, if you are an author, if you are someone that wants to create content, when you read, it just expands your knowledge, it expands your ideology. It makes things more relatable to you, people's story more relatable. You see the world in the perspective of others. You see things that you've never imagined in another light. It makes it more easier for you to even express your own ideas, your own thoughts, your own content in a better way because you've seen how other people reason and you've just incorporated it into your own perspective. In any area that you might find yourself, there's a lot of treasure in picking up the reading culture, and I advise you to make up your mind to start today and start developing yourself. The final thing I'll be saying before I go will be on self-development, and that is that self-development is your one and only responsibility. Do not leave it for others, do not leave it for anyone, because most people will not take it as intently and as seriously as you would take it. So do not leave it to your employer, do not leave it to your parents, do not leave it to your siblings, your colleagues. Whoever it is that you think should be responsible isn't the one that is responsible, because you are the one that is responsible for your own self-development. So take it as that and be intentional about developing yourself. One of the major ways that books has helped me is to develop my thoughts and to be able to express myself better, because now I'm able to articulate my thoughts and participate in random communications or discussions that normally I would not have been able to participate in. I hope this video helps and you've been able to pick one or two things from it. Share with me in the comment section which of the tips you're going to be picking up and how you're going to be implementing it in your daily schedule. Thank you once again. If you've not subscribed to my YouTube channel, I encourage you to subscribe and share my videos. Give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to turn on your notification bell as well, so that you'll be the first to be notified whenever I put up a video such as this. Thank you once again, and I'll see you all in my next video. Bye guys.